Good evening, race fans. How about this then? It is the final round of the GTC HyPrix BMW Cup. This is the lobby number one. This is where the pros are racing for the championship, and we are at the beautiful Mount Panorama, New South Wales, in sunny Australia. Bathurst, love this racetrack. I defy anybody to find a better racetrack than this in the world. So let's get the grid set first and foremost. This is how the grid is looking for this evening. On pole, and I'm going to be doing this slowly because I'm going to be putting everyone where they're supposed to be at the same time. On pole is the current GTC champion, Sharky, vying for the championship. We'll see just how close the championship is very soon. Tech Racing for BVL. BVL currently sitting third in the championship. He is second alongside Sharky on that front row. Monkey Man Macho. He was an early championship leader, Monkey Man, from Black Flag, but has really struggled. Last two races, disconnecting from both, has taken him out of the championship race. Aero from Sector 7, jumping into Lobby 1 after a great race last week and a fabulous time. Doesn't even have a ranking of Pro, Pro-Am or Am because he's that new to this BMW Cup. Faye, I think I pronounced that right. I think he's been racing long enough now for me to get that right. He is on row 3 and he is joined on row 3 by Natu. If Natu is here, Natu's not here at the moment. Slipstream, another Black Flag driver. He will be sick if Natu shows up. Of course, he'll be 7th, but at the moment he'll be in 6th, 7th or 8th, depending on how you look at it. Rusty Maggots, also from Sector 7. Sector 7 with a nice big showing here in this final lobby for the final round. That's Rusty Maggots. Karama for the Leviathan Racing team, Sharky's teammate. He comes in behind Rusty Maggots. Behind him is Kaizan from Mash Spuds Racing, currently top of the team championship by I think about 30 points. We'll have a look at that in a second, once I get him in the right place, of course. Behind him, Greasy Sam Squanch, current championship leader by mere minuscule points. Hardly anything at all separates him from the second place driver Sharky at the moment. But it's going to be good, but he's right down there in 10th. So a lot of work for him to do to get himself up into that top 3. The Truth, Hovercraft from Sector 7, he's just behind him with The Truth behind him. Cyclone Dan, why is Tech Racing in the wrong place? I've moved into the wrong place. Cyclone Dan, I need to move down to there. Almost got this right. With Smashing Apex bringing up the rear, and if and when, if he turns up, if Faye turns up, he will be slotting in there. Right, there we go. That's how the grid looks. Got it done. Got it sorted. Yes, so you know who I am. I'm Urban Pirate from Black Flag Racing TV. This is the GT Champions BMW Cup Round 6, and we are live at Mount Panorama. So let's have a look at this. So this is where we stand after round 5. Greasy Sam Squanch from HyPrix Sim Race City, 806 points. Just 2 points at the top of that leaderboard from Sharky. Remember, Sharky's on pole, and already being on pole, he has the additional point, which puts him on 805. That's going to be a very tight fought battle. Greasy with a lot of work to do to catch him up. Natu, who's not, sorry, it's not Fight that's missing, it's Natu that's missing. Natu, if he makes it, he's currently 3rd in the championship, so really would be good to see him rock up and get racing today. Slipstream for Black Flag, currently sitting in 4th. Can make the top 3, especially if Natu doesn't show. Tech Racing, currently sitting on that front row with Sharky. He's in 5th. And Monkey Man Macho, who would probably be leading the championship had he not had 2 disconnections, down in 6th place. Most important one, this is the one that everyone cares about though. This is the really important one. This one here. Mash Spuds Racing, 2248. Just 31 points separates them and Black Flag Racing for the team championship. Two of each team in this lobby this evening. So it's going to be hard fought. The Black Flag drivers need to finish ahead of Mash Spuds, but it's not going to necessarily be down to them because it is the top 3 point scoring drivers for the team. And both teams, us, Black Flag, and Match Spuds, have drivers racing in Lobby 2 and Lobby 3. So it could come down to where those guys finish in those lobbies. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a very close, hard-fought battle. And looking forward to that. But BVL, we remember Tech Racing's their second on the grid. He could very well find himself getting involved in that at some stage with the rest of his teammates. We've just lost Monkey Man Macho. I'm hoping we get him back in the next 4 minutes, or that conversation about a half-fought battle for the team championship will be moot. It will. So how do we get here? You have to bear with me. I've been ill for the last few weeks. I'm slow. Round 1 in Sardega. That was a brilliant race won by Zeno, who hasn't shown up for the last couple of weeks. Week 2 in Dragon Trail. A lot of victims into that chicane. Round 3 at Tokyo Expressway. Round 4 at Deep Forest. Barcelona, Catalunya was last week. And here we finish at Mount Panorama. So, yeah, it's going to be... It's been an awesome little series. And, I've been incredibly ill over the last probably last 3 weeks. This is pretty much all I've been able to broadcast. But I've literally doubled down specially for this particular series because it is an amazing series, and there's been some great drivers. Now we've only got 3 minutes till this starts. Monkey Man Macho is out of the lobby. Whether that's a reset for him or what. We've also not seen Natu today. Remember, those guys are vying for a championship position and, of course, involved in the team championship. So really, really important from their perspective. See if they can get back in. Quick look at the Pro-Am results. We've got a couple of Pro-Am drivers in this lobby. Let It Rip Sector 7, top of the Pro-Am class with 729. Flash from BVL with 706. Budsy for Mash Spuds, he may be playing into this team championship with 686 points. And Tati, Pride of the Dragon, absolutely smashing it down there in the Pro-Ams, smashing it there for the commentators, and could earn her way into that top 3, and it would be deservedly so for Tati there in 4th place. So still all to play for down there as well in the Pro-Am series. So there is 1 minute to start. I'm going to give them the 1 minute warning. But we could be starting without Monkey Man Macho. That is an absolutely devastating bit of news for Black Flag. Good evening, Simonas. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. As you can see, we've lost Monkey Man. And this could be a devastating blow for everyone, really, for absolutely everyone. But look, it's been a fabulous series, whichever way you look at it. Will he get back in time? We've got no Natu, and at the moment we've got no Monkey Man Macho, so just the 13 starters. And true to form, I can't hang around just because he's one of our drivers. I can't hang around and wait for him. The rules is the rules, unfortunately. And I haven't had, I'm just going to check see if I've got any messages regarding that. Nothing that suggests that there is any need to wait. So, without further ado, I'm fortunate to say, congratulations to Mash Spuds Racing. It looks like the championship is yours, but we are ready to go. Let's get the ready signal up for everybody. Once I've got a few of those pop in, then we'll get cracking. But everyone's here, everyone's checked in. We'll have a look at some of the liveries. There's a couple of special liveries ready for this evening. I know that we've got a brand new livery for this evening. Right, without further ado, let's get cracking. I very nearly clicked the enter button. Wake up, Andy, wake up. So, race is about to begin. Good luck to all the drivers. Congratulations to everybody who's been involved up to this stage, but really looking forward now to what is going to be an absolutely fabulous race. Really looking forward to this. So, want to get all the, get rid of that. Want to get that all up. Let's get into the right position. Right, boom shanker. That should be enough into turn 1. We are ready to go. That's 3, that's 4, that's 5 lights. They go out and we are underway here. And down into turn 1. Very, very careful into turn 1 here. And already you can see drivers trying to find that inside line. Little shunt in the back there of the Sector 7 racing driver. We've only lost the 1 car though, so no red flag, but that is an absolute devastating blow for Rusty Maggots in turn 1. It's absolutely punted from behind. Do we have a chance to have a quick look at that? I'm trying to find who it was that hit him. Can't see it. Couldn't see it. Right, anyway, moving swiftly on. Rusty Maggots at the back of the pack into the cut for the first time, and Sharky already trying to pull out a nice big comfortable lead. Does not want these cars tucking in behind him too early on, wants to try and get a nice big lead, and he is doing just that. It's 2 distinctive racetracks, Bathurst, and it's a very, very complex track. Yeah, it's a very complex track because essentially you've got this really tricky, twisty mountain section into Forest Elbow here. You can just see them coming down towards it now. And it takes you out to a very, very long straight. Exit out of this mountain section, absolute paramount. You've got to get your power down early. You want to get as much straight line speed as you can heading down here, especially if you're in a bit of slipstream as well, help you make that overtake. Awful, awful place there for the penalty, of course. So don't get one. Sorry, my dog and cat are fighting. It's really annoying me. But there we go. There's the current leader. Let's have a little run through the order as we come into this little hotel complex, the Chase, for the first time. It is Sharky from Faye. Faye running in second. Aero for Sector 7. Good little run for him. BVL Tech Racing just behind him. Lost a couple of places in that early start. Do notice that a few cars aren't running liveries. We'll have a look anyway. There is Slipstream for Black Flag running in 5th place, and that's a special one-off livery for this last race. Thank you to TJ for getting that together. As Slippy makes the move on Aero as they run up the hill towards the mountain. Really, really good little overtake there. A good place to make it as well, because once you get into the mountain, very, very difficult to get overtakes done once you're into that mountain section. We'll get an onboard done as quickly as we possibly can soon. Just want to get good. Am I surprised? Simona's right. I'm not really surprised. I would have liked to have seen him race for a bit and get our hopes up of a team championship. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. You can't, you know, if it had been down to driver error, then you could have a moment. But you know, disconnections are unfortunately part of the game. I won't have him killed. So Sector 7 down into 5th place. Greasy already makes up 4 places up into that top 6. Remember, if it stays as it is, Sharky will be crowned the Sharky even will be crowned champion. He's already the GTC World Champion. Is he also going to be the BMW Cup Champion? Or is Greasy Sam Squatch got something to say about that? Kaizan for Match Spuds Racing up into 7th. Karama, his teammate, Sharky's teammate, just behind him in 8th. Hovercraft for Sector 7 is in 9th. Cyclone Dan for BVL. Now, here's an interesting take on it. Because Monkey Man Macho didn't make the race, this brings BVL into this team championship now. They could potentially nick 2nd position, particularly with Tech up there in 3rd, Cyclone Dan there in 10th. There is a very distinct possibility that Black Flag could drop out of the top 2. Anyway, The Truth, good to see him back in Division 1, where he belongs. Very quick driver, The Truth, and you can't handle him. He's there in 11th at the moment. Another Sector 7, well, he was a Sector 7 driver, but he's not running the Sector 7 livery, or is he? Rusty Maggots, he's in 12th place. We saw him getting absolutely melted into turn 1. That will have to get looked at. With Smashing Apex dropping in behind him for Match Spuds Racing. So there we have it. There's your race leaders, 1.8 seconds clear as we head into the mountain. Let's get an on-board going, shall we? Come on, Andy, wake up. There we go. Let's get the on-board working for him. So here we go. You head through this mountain section, very, very tricky section. And it's really about keeping it off the walls and trying to maintain the pace through this 6.2 kilometre, 3.8 mile circuit. Head down here, braking really important because you can't really brake properly in straight lines. You have to kind of ease your brakes as you flick through this section of the after the S's into the dipper. Heading down, this is a little flick to the right before you head into Forest Elbow. This is an absolute key corner. Get on the power as early as you dare without clipping that wall, and it takes you into the Conrod Straight, which is a long, high-speed stretch of circuit. Takes you up the hill here, and then you dip off as you head towards the hotel complex. The Monkey Man Macho does get back into the room, but a little bit too late, unfortunately. Into the chase, which is this little kind of almost chicane left-right combo by the hotel complex. As you head under the Armoury sign into Murray's, and Murray's then quick left-hander, which takes you down to the start-finish line for Hell Corner. Hell Corner, turn 1 here. The reason it's called Hell Corner, and if you look on the left-hand side, you won't really see it anymore, but where that apex is there used to be a very, very big tree on that corner, many, many years ago. And the reason it's called Hell Corner is because a hell of a lot of people died crashing into that tree. And that's why it got the name Hell Corner. Simple as that. There we have it. This is a street circuit. I know it looks like a purpose-built racetrack, but it is actually a street circuit. There are houses everywhere. These are normal, everyday roads when there's not a racing event going on. And there is actually an interesting story about Bathurst, if you didn't know, but there are a series of tunnels under the racetrack. So the people that live in and around this racetrack, when there's a race on, can get in and out of the racetrack without using the roads. When there's no racing on, it is very strictly enforced, 20-mile-an-hour speed limits on these roads, and they've got their own kind of little police force to police it, because of course you can expect what people are going to do is, oh look, it's a racetrack, brum, brum, in their normal roadcast. Anyway, moving swiftly on. As it stands, Sharky, 1.7 seconds clear, and will win this BMW Cup Championship if it stays as it is. His closest rival, Greasy, up to 5th now. There he is, he's just behind Slipstream. He's made his way past Karama and Kaizan and Aero up into 5th place. Absolutely battling on, and he's tucked in nicely behind Slipstream. Slipstream making a move on Tech Racing. Greasy following him through, giving Slippy that little bump draft to help him along. Side by side, there's Tech Racing. Shows how strong the Slipstream is here. And the Slipstream with Greasy, he's got the inside line coming into this little kink. That's a double whammy move from Slippy. From Greasy. What a move from him. And we have to watch that again, because that was something very, very special. You can see here, he makes the move, bumps Slippy through past Tech Racing, and then uses that additional momentum just to get this overtake done up into the braking zone. And boom shanker, as quick as a flash, he is up into that top 3. The gap between him and his championship rival. Now, to win this, he has to beat Sharky. If these guys finish 1-2, whichever order they're in, they're going to be 1-2 in the championship. 3.9 seconds he's got to make up on Faye. He's then got an additional 1.9 seconds to make up on Sharky. A lot of work to do, but he is already putting that hard work in. He's got the positions made up nice and quickly early on, which is absolute paramount importance. Now, I can tell you that something I heard today, that Greasy had a pedal problem, I think a couple of days ago, and was doubtful for this, but has managed to find and replace those pedals for tonight's race. So that's a little bit of luck. Imagine a technical failure costing you a championship, Monkey Man Macho. Anyway, moving swiftly on. And there we go. So, as it stands, Sharky in the lead from Faizan, 1.2 seconds. That gap's starting to come down. It's not Faizan, is it? It's just Faye. Faye with a 2:01.7. That's the fastest lap as yet. Looking pretty good. Will we get a sub 2:01? I think quite easily with Slipstream we could see a sub 2:01 here at Bathurst. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if we did get that. And yeah, I think we're probably going to see it towards the tail end of the race. Once the fuel loads are dropping down, people are pushing for that final kind of position. I think we could very well see some really, really low times. Right, I do want to have a look at all the liveries. So that's the standard LRC livery we're using out the whole race season. Very cool with that dangerous looking shark on the side, and that's a dangerous looking shark in the lead. There is Faye. He's got just the base liveries and nothing special for himself on there. I'm sure we'll see him get snapped up by a team very soon after his performance in this BMW Cup. The ever instantly recognisable HyPrix, very good with this controller, HyPrix Sim Race City livery. And HyPrix obviously are one of the sponsors of this BMW Cup, principal sponsor, if you like, of this BMW Cup. Greasy now with the fastest lap of the race. See with that slipstream that came to 2:01.1. So I think we are going to see a sub 2:01 lap. This is the black flag livery, specially just for this particular race. And if I was any good with camera angles, I could show you it. There we go. Let's go with that one. A little bit simpler than we used to. We're usually a bit busier than that, but looking good all the same. That's the Tech Racing, and they've done a special livery for Bathurst, I think. Yeah, they have. That's a really, really cool livery. Look at that, King of the Mountain. Love it. That might be my favourite one yet. Monster Energy for Sector 7. A couple of Sector 7 logos on there. And that's the Sector 7 drivers are very individual in their cars. They don't run strict team liveries. That's Match Spuds Racing, potentially looking at a championship here. Running in 7th is Kaizan. You'd expect these guys to do well here. Home track for them. Kurama in that LRC livery. We've seen that one already. Another Sector 7 livery looking a little bit different. That's on Hovercraft from the United States. The Truth also from Sector 7. He's gone very much Shell V-Power there on the Canadian driver's car. Cyclone Danny's gone for the same BVL. Really, really cool livery. I love that for Bathurst. Smashing Apex, of course, Match Spuds, we know what theirs look like. Rusty Maggots, we saw him getting melted into turn 1 for Sector 7. A little bit of work for him to do to try and make his way back up the field. Fastest lap to Faye again. He's gone 2:10. So he's really closing down on the back of Sharky. You can really see that gap's come right down 0.3 of a second now. Tucked right in that slipstream into the mountain. We know just how difficult it is to overtake through here. The gap to Greasy is 4.2 seconds, and he's closing that gap on that front too. But Faye at the moment wants to have has basically got different plans. So the script is written thusly, that Sharky and Greasy battle it out for the championship 1 and 2. Faye read that script and decided he was going to ad-lib and go something different and go for the director's cut, which is Faye wins this race and Sharky and Greasy can deal with whatever they're dealing with behind me. That's certainly the way that he's pushing the car at the moment. Can Sharky keep him behind? Good exit out, Forest Elbow needed for Faye if he can get this. Faye. I call him anything else. Faye. Good exit out of here, and he gets a good run on the back of that Leviathan Racing Crew driver. He doesn't get the greatest of exits, and actually Sharky pulling away a little bit. So it is that Z4, depending on what part of the world you're from, looking very, very good in a straight line. And that is what's keeping Sharky ahead of Faye going into the chase. This is lap 7. If you've just joined us, where the hell have you been? We are nearly 15 minutes here, 1/4 way through this round 6 Lobby 1 race in the BMW GT3 cars. This is the final race of the BMW Cup, brought to you by HyPrix and GTChampions.com. Check them out immediately. A lot of the drivers here will be running their own personal streams, and I do recommend watching it from an onboard perspective. Very exciting, very, very exciting. Greasy, I know, definitely has one, and Slipstream as well. Do check them out after, of course, you've watched this and liked it and shared it to all your friends. And any of your friends that don't have the internet, I do apologise, do put my phone on silent. That is awful behaviour. Do apologise for that. Put my phone on silent now so it doesn't disturb you again. Yes, so any changes through the field? It is, other than that sort of charge from Faye at the moment, and he does seem to close up when they get into the mountain. It's whether he can make the move as they come out. It really is key, and it is sunset here, so it is the light's going to start to fade a little bit. You're going to have to start picking your braking points and doing it from muscle memory more than anything else, because it's going to be complicated, because the darker it gets, the less chance you're going to spot those little braking points. You have to kind of do it from memory. Now, this is key. Can he get a good exit out of here and get a good run on Sharky this time? The Z4 a little bit quicker with that straight line speed. What it lacks through the mountain, it does gain down this Conrod straight. And yet again, he's able to just put a little gap. And it just seems when they hit that top gear, that's when that Z4 just opens up that gap again for a little while before again the M6 closes in. But you've got to get the move done before then. You get another opportunity. They'll come round through the chase, head down towards Murray's. This is this left-hander that takes you down to the start-finish line. Into the braking zone they go. Get it turned in. Nicely clip the apex on that power. Don't go too wide. It will go horribly, horribly wrong. Greasy's closed that gap to 2.8 seconds. We're going to watch that charge in a minute. Can Faye get a good exit out of here and get a move done as they head into the mountain? Loses the back end a little bit. That's going to give Sharky a little bit of a breather. That's the word I was looking for. A bit of a breather as they head back into the mountain. So yet again, Faye has to resign himself to being tucked in behind in the dirty air through the top of the mountain. Top of the mountain, do ya? That is Greasy Sam Squanch. He started in 9th. He battled his way through the field. By lap 5, he'd got himself into this top 3. The gap now to the leader, 3.1 seconds. He currently leads the championship with the 1 point that Sharky got for pole. He currently leads his championship by just 1 point. The winner of this race out of Sharky and Greasy will be the winner of this championship. But nobody told Faye that was going to be the story, because at the moment Faye separates these two. So Greasy's going to have to find the back of Faye. He's going to have to get past him, and bear in mind that Faye is putting some trouble at the back of Sharky at the moment. He's going to have to find the back of him. He's going to have to get past him, and then he's going to have to find a way past the wily Shark. Slipstream comfortably in 4th at the moment. It's a 4.1 gap, 4.1 second gap to Greasy, a 2.3 back to Tech Racing, who is potentially eyeing second in the team championship, with Monkey Man Matcha Black Flag getting disconnected before the race started. 2 disconnections in the last 2 races, one with 3 laps to go, one with just 62 seconds left on the clock, and then this week getting disconnected before the race start and not even competing. That takes Black Flag out of this team championship, unless of course a miracle happens and all of the Mash Spuds racing drivers suddenly quit overpaid and terms and conditions. Who knows? Aero is tucked right in behind Tech Racing. No one told Sector 7 that BVL were vying for second in the championship, and he intends to not make that happen for him. Tucked in nicely behind. Can he get a move done as they head up to the mountain? At the moment, it doesn't look like it's close enough as they go into this turn at the top of the hill. Essentially turn 2 is turn 2 is quite a way away from turn 1 here, which is unusual for most racetracks, to be fair. But there we have it. 3.7 back to Kaizan for Mash Spuds. Kurama just behind him, 7/10 of a second. Behind him, there is The Truth. That's a 3-way battle there for 7th place at the moment, separated just by about a second and a half between those 3 cars, vying for 7th position. Hovercraft or hovercraft, if you say it as it's written. Another Sector 7 driver. Good performance last week. Gets him into Lobby 1 from that pace. And the US driver running in that top 10. 4.2, a smashing apex for Mash Spuds. He's made a couple of places up. He's got ahead of Cyclone Dan. He's got ahead of Rusty Maggots, who got punted into turn 1. So there is potentially a penalty to look at there, which could have an effect on the champion. I'm not sure it was that caught him, but that could have an effect on the final points totals. And then 15 seconds back to Cyclone Dan. So, are we going to see Faye make a move on Sharky? Or is he just kind of tucked in behind now, just running the clock down, waiting for an opportunity later into the race? As it stands, he's half a second back, and he looks to be relatively comfortable in there. He's got that fastest lap, so he knows that he's got the pace, and he's the closest to going sub 201. I think if we're going to see anyone go sub 201, I think it's going to be Greasy on the charge for the championship, because it's very much... If you're Greasy Sam Squadron at the moment, you're in quite a good position. And I'll tell you what, you could argue, well, he's only a point ahead in the championship and he's back in third. He's in a good position because it's Sharky's race to lose. Sharky's in the lead and he has the championship in the bag as it stands. Greasy just has to put pedal to metal, hammer time, and see what comes of it. Starting when you're starting back in 10th, although it became 9th, and the guy that you're racing is 9 places up on the racetrack, and you know that he's quick, he's a current. Oh, and Sharky clipping the wall there. That allows Faye to make that little move, and it's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. What happened there? So we saw Sharky, we'll get the chase cam on, so we see Sharky here, he clips the wall, and that gives Faye the momentum to make the move, and Sharky cuts across. Now, I've got to say that it's not my job to call it at this stage, but that looked to me that Sharky was a little bit aggressive with the blocking there. Look, we have to look at the replay and make the decision from that, but from that perspective it didn't look great, lads. That did not look good at all. Now, Faye had every right to make that move. It's not easy to overtake in a mountain, but Faye went on the grass to make the move. He wasn't on the racetrack forcing somebody else off. The gap was there. Sharky had hit the wall. I'm going to watch that back again as a replay afterwards, but I can only go by what I've seen on the screen here, and that could be a big decider in this championship, because if that is deemed to be by the stewards to be an illegal move, then Greasy doesn't even have to make the overtake. Now, he won't know that at this stage, but that's definitely going to have to get looked at by the stewarding team. And I tell you what, I'm glad I'm not one of those making that move or making that decision. But certainly it does have to get looked at. Absolutely has to get looked at. So, that's an interesting turn of events, because Greasy now up to second. Faye, who's been super, super quick, drops down behind Slipstream, who's currently running in third. Now, we've got a little bit of a train going on here now. That is Sector 7's Aero. And you can see there, that's Aero in 6th. Ahead of him is Tech Racing in 5th. Faye now just ahead of him in 4th. And Slipstream up to 3rd after that little shenanigan. Now, of course, this racetrack's going to get ever, ever trickier as the light fades. We started at sunset. We are fast approaching the halfway point, actually, with 12 laps in. Another couple of laps, and we are firmly into the second half of this race. And it's starting to shape up quite nicely for a great championship battle. Let's put that potential penalty aside. And as it stands right now, Sharky is 0.6 of a second up from Greasy. And this is the 1-2 in the championship, but the other way around. So Greasy needs to make this overtake to win this championship as it stands. There's just 1 point separating them at the top of the table. And you've got to say that it is a phenomenal, phenomenal performance from Sharky in this championship thus far, because he's picked up a couple of penalties along the way. and grid penalties that is, and it just dropped him down the order. And he's had to fight his way into the top 3 from the back of the grid on a number of occasions, which just goes to show it's the reason why he's the GTC World Champion, of course. But you can see now why these two have been the favourites. Once Monkey Man Macho had his disconnection issues, these two became clear favourites for this championship. You can see why. So Sharky goes purple, first purple sector, purple first sector even. I do apologise if I am all stumbling and get things wrong. I've been very unwell last 3 weeks. Not really been a bit out of the action a little bit. Still not 100%, but I'm getting there. I'm fighting back. But very, very tired all the time. Anyway, but if you want to stay awake, this is what you need to watch. So Sharky leads the way. We've got Greasy just behind him. Greasy's putting in some phenomenally consistent laps. He's just dropped out of those 201s as we head towards this midway point. Now, they just need to make these soft tyres last to the midway point, of course. They're all running the soft tyres. There's no secret strategies I need to hide from you. They're all running those super soft. We're not on Graduate Zone Sport anymore, mate. We're all running those soft compound racing tyres. It is Leviathan Racing Team Sharky from HyPrix, Greasy Sam Squanch from Black Flag, whoop whoop, Slipstream with Faye Independent in 4th, BVL's Tech Racing in 5th, Sector 7's Aero in 7th, Mash Spuds Racing in Kaizen in 7th. So that is 7 different teams, or 6 and an independent, represented in the top 7 spots. That just demonstrates the mass diversity in this BMW Cup. We've got Aussies, we've got Hong Kong, we've got Canada, we've got United States of America, we've got New Zealand / Poland, we've got all manner, we've got French, massive different, and across the divisions, we do have a massive splattering across the entire world. It would be interesting actually for someone to run the numbers. I might do that. I might run the numbers and post something up. It just goes to show how much diversity we have here in the GTC community. So Sharky's still holding on in the lead of this race. Faye has made his way past Slippy. Can we see how he got that move done? I would imagine he'd already got that done. He'd already got it done on the Conrod. So there he is up into 3rd. He's got 9.6 seconds is his gap to Sharky. Bearing in mind, he was taking the lead of this race when that incident happened. Obviously the stewards are going to have to look at that. But if Sharky does finish in top 3, we can't not ask the question. We have to address it, because that might well be a title decider. So we may not know initially whether who the champion is. For me, I go by what I see, and from what I saw, that to me is a penalty. You know, the driver went past. The mistake was made. The gap was, well, there was a gap fashioned, of course. Faye made that gap, and Sharky didn't let him through the gap, and he ended up spinning. Good evening, Paul. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, man. So Slippy in 4th. He's still got Tech Racing behind him. How long could he hold him at bay as they head along these long straights with that slipstream? That Slippy does not want to be giving up any Slippy to the cars behind him. PD, you've had a couple of updates now. When are you going to fix this please refuel remaining lap thingy? Yeah, feeling a bit better. Is Paul stalking you today, Patrick? He's a bit like that. He's a bit weird. So into the pits goes Slippy. That's quite an early stop, actually. It's almost bang on the halfway point. Quite an early stop, but maybe that's a ploy to get himself some clear air to drive into. Get the monkey off of his back. That monkey, of course, was Tech Racing. So Sharky still leads the way from Greasy Sam Squanch from HyPrix. They are separated by nothing more than a little piece of rope right now. You could put a piece of paper between these two cars and they would be able to hold it there. They are that close. Who's going to blink first to go into the pits? Looking at fuel, there is nothing to differentiate those two. Faye, he is starting to close that gap on that top three. 2.2 to Tech. There is 3.6 to Aero, 1.9 to Kaizen as they start to spread out now. 5.2 to Hovercraft. Slipstream drops in 8th place, 28 seconds back. The Truth is also pit. He's 14.1 seconds ahead of Karama, who has also pit. He's 3.2 ahead of Rusty Maggots. He's also pit. Smashing Apex 4.4 back. He's also pit. And Cyclone Dan has also pit. He's 12.4 seconds back. Do we need to get the doll out, Patrick, and give it to you so you can point where Paul has been touching you, because he seems to be stalking you a bit at the moment. So everyone from Slippy backwards has been into the pits. So top 7 all still need to pit, and I was going to say Sharky and Greasy have swapped places, but they're into the pits, so that could be a pit, or is it? Let's have a little look, because yeah, so into the pits they go. So it was actually Sharky in first. Oh no, Sharky made a mistake going into the pits. That's how that happened. So Sharky makes a mistake going into the pits. That allows Greasy to slip in ahead. Now, how much impact is that going to have? Surely there's going to be a level of impact on that, with Greasy getting into his pit box a little bit quicker. Does that mean he's got the move done? Tech Racing, the current leader, he will still need to pit, of course. Kaizen up to second. Home track for these two guys. Home track, of course, as well for Sharky. So right out they come. Greasy out first. He is 25 seconds back from Kaizen. 1 second clear of Sharky. And Sharky with a 3.5 second penalty that he's going to have to serve on this lap. That is a massive, massive penalty. So Greasy taking the lead of this race and the lead of the championship as it stands. I know you're going to argue he's in third. That's because the guys in front haven't bit yet. But Sharky with that penalty, that's a massive, massive blow to his championship hopes. So there we have it. Now that is an interesting turn of events, because up until this point he'd been holding everything at bay. Then there was that little incident with Faye, which is going to be looked at by the stewards, I think, whatever happens. And now that little mistake going into the pits cost Sharky first place and picks up a penalty to boot, which is not what you want to be getting here at Bathurst, because it is a woeful penalty to serve. And we'll show you just how long the penalty is. 3.5 seconds might as well be 6 months here, because the car he's going to see, and you'll see here just how much the car ahead disappears. So here we go. You head down under the R8 side, go through this penalty line. The gap as Greasy goes through is 1/2 second. See the penalty served. Greasy will disappear over the hill and far away. By the time they get into the braking zone, the gap, we'll see just how devastating that gap is. And it has cost him, into the braking zone he goes, 5.8 seconds. So he was 1/2 second back. It's cost him so much time. Over 5 seconds, that 3.5 second penalty has cost him. Massive gap. So Kaizen into the pits. Tech Racing has stayed out in the lead of this race. He will have to pit in the next lap or two, though. So Greasy now 32 seconds back from Tech, but will take the lead when Tech goes into the pits. He's now 5.5 seconds clear of Sharky. Sharky 2.4 clear of Slipstream. So Slipstream has found his way back into that top 3 with that early pit stop. Very dry. I've actually got a pill I've got to take as well, but I'm trying to hold off because it makes me really drowsy, so I want to try and get as close to the end of the race as I can before I take it. I am like an hour late taking it, but I think you'd rather I stayed awake than fell asleep before the end of this. Although I don't know how anyone could fall asleep watching this. So as we descend into darkness, and I do want to point out, for these nighttime races, it's very difficult to get a good picture of the nighttime races. The darker it gets, we'll have to stick to more in-car views, I think. So there is Fate. Now, he's 4.3 seconds behind Slippy after Slippy's early pit stop. I can tell you now, though, that Slippy's been a little bit conservative with his fuel stop. I know Slippy very well, and I can tell you that he will have calculated that to the litre, but that doesn't mean that he won't need to push at some stage. The Truth is up into that top 6. Good drive from him. He's ahead of his Sector 7 teammate Aero, who isn't letting him go, though. They're still racing for that 6th position. Kaizan out in 8th. He's lost a position through that little pit window. Hovercraft in 9th. Karama rounds out that top 10, the French driver. The only European, actually, in... Well, no, he's not the only European. Of course, well, technically good. See, he is European, technically, because he lives in Poland, but he's a Kiwi. So we'll say 2 Europeans in the group, just for the sake of Slippy being a bit Polish. Kramer is in 10th position. He's 5.3 ahead of Rusty Maggots. It's 6.6 to Smashing Apex, and 8.9 back to Cyclone Dan. So there we have it. There's 13 runners. We lost Monkey Man Macho in the lobby to a disconnection, and Natu, who is rising through those championship rankings and could have potentially put in a bid for a sort of top, certainly a solid top. Oh, that's Tech Racing, and he's lost the back end of that car and hit the wall. Now, that's going to be devastating for him because he's going to be losing loads and loads of time. Now, bear in mind, he does still need to pit, but the guys chasing him down now are going to have a much easier time. We'll be able to get closer to him after making that mistake. And it just seems the tyres gave out on him there through the mountain. So the gap between Sharky and Greasy, it's still at over 5.5 seconds. And as it stands, we've got, it's basically 23 minutes stands between Greasy Sam Squanch, the Canadian driver for HyPrix Sim Race City, and a BMW, a HyPrix GT Champions BMW Cup. He's going to bring that BMW Cup home to the principal sponsor, HyPrix Sim Race City. Tech Racing into the pits, and we'll see Greasy coming around the chase. He'll come into Murray's, he'll take that left-hander. Oh, my dog is panting like a nut to be on. I know it's hot, but it's really not that hot. Well, no, it is. It's scorching. I didn't put my fan on, actually. I'm going to put my fan on now, because it is that little bit warm. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Right, so Greasy into the lead of the race, as we would expect. Tech Racing still in the pits. Through goes Sharky. Slipstream coming through now. He's into that top 3. This is a good performance from Slipstream, picking up the slack where his McDonald's Wi-Fi teammate couldn't race. Sorry, Monkey, but your connections are rubbish. I love you, man, but your connection is woeful. So Faye is in 4th, but he hasn't got it all that comfortably, because a very, very fresh Tech Racing with less fuel on board is tucked in behind and looking to get up to speed. He's going to have to get some warmth through those tyres as they head into the mountain, as darkness descends. The starry night descends upon us here at Mount Panorama. The Truth running in 6th, 4.7 seconds back. He's still got Aero 4 company as they go through the mountain. Let's do, I think it's time now we do full on board with Greasy. I want to find the right view. That's right. I'm like a child. I need to like write on my keyboard what all the buttons do. I'm putting it down to 3 weeks. I'm going to keep blaming that until I'm much better. And everyone goes, but you've been better for weeks. And stop blaming your rubbishness on your rubbishness. Okay, that is that's the fastest time thus far. He's got a 2:01.02 to beat. Into the chase you go. You head down and we'll do a full on-board lap with Greasy Sam Squad. So into Murray's, braking around that 50-metre board. Get it turned in just before maybe. Get on that power as you head down. You see the lights just disappearing off into the distance, into Hell Corner. On those brakes, get it turned down. In third. Third's an interesting gear to take that corner in, but does keep the speed up as you head up the mountain. That was the fastest lap of the race. That was a sub 2:01. That's a 2-minute 9:93 for Greasy, whose intent is clear. He wants to win this championship and win it good. Into the mountain section we go. You flick round this right-hander, heading up towards the cutting, or the cut, depending on who you ask. Into the cutting he goes. Then you head round this this sort of tricky sort of right-left combo, which takes you into Griffin's Mount, then the Hollow, then Park, then Skyline. This series of corners, just one after the other, just constant, and it's all about feathering the throttle through here, lifting and coasting and lifting and power back on before you break into the S's. That takes you into this massive, massive dip called aptly the Dipper. You head round left, right before you let off that accelerator on the brakes into Forest Elba, a little bit wide. He's clipped the wall and he's spun it round. That was a really, really weird place for that to happen. And it's all changed again. He can't get the car righted. Absolute nightmare. What happened there? That was a little bit mental because he hit the wall and it kind of... I don't understand how that happened because there was no reason for the car to spin as it did. But it so did, and it all changed out in the lead. And that is Sharky back up into the lead of this championship. And now, although, so that has cost Sharky, Greasy, the lead of this race. He was 5 seconds clear, just put the fastest lap of the race in. He's now down in 4th position. Slippy up to 2nd. Faye back up into that top 3. He will desperately want to get back on the back of Sharky's car. Greasy in 4th. And now he's got Tech Racing behind him. Tech has found his way around to Truth. He stayed ahead of the Truth because he was in behind Faye, wasn't it? So there we have it. That's how quickly things can change. Now, this is a massive, massive change because we are 99.9% convinced that there will be a penalty coming Sharky's way for that incident with Faye early on. Now, the question, of course, is how big is that penalty going to be? Now, based on other penalties, you would think it would be around the 5-second mark. If that's the case, then Greasy has some work to do. Greasy has to come within that 5 seconds. Now, he won't know that. He won't know that there's a potential penalty coming to Sharky. All he knows is that he did all that hard work to get up, get past, get through, make that first position his. And then Forest Elbow said no. And that's one of the beautiful things about this racetrack, is it doesn't matter how good you are, how quick you are, how consistent you are, this track bites back. And that's exactly what happened to Greasy. The Canadian driver got caught out by the crazy physics through Forest Elbow and finds himself now with a lot of work to do for this championship. There's your race leader. He's got a 6.1 second lead now over Slipstream. Even if the race finishes as it is right now, even a 5-second penalty at this stage, he is still going to be the champion. Now, it's one of those things. Just sometimes the racetrack isn't kind to you. Sometimes mistakes happen. We saw that when Sharky went into the pits. He made a mistake. He picked up a 3.5-second penalty. He was all but out of running for first place. And then Forest Elbow got introduced to the Greasy Sam Squanch HyPrix car, and it's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. So Slippy, 6.6 seconds back in 2nd. He's got a 2.5-second gap to Faye, who is just outside the Greasy overtake range. Greasy, of course, with the fastest lap at the moment, and that extra point will be very, very welcome. Tech Racing for BVL, 3.8 seconds back in 5th place. He's 1 second ahead of the Truth, who's still got Aero for company. Those two still running so close together. You can see here, I mean, this is a 3-way battle at the moment for 5th. Tech went so deep into this race before he went into the pits. And it served him quite well. He's come back out in 5th. His pace is looking quite good. At the moment, though, he's got 2 of these Sector 7 drivers hunting him down. Oh, just getting a little bit squirrely there, Aero. And he will lose a little bit of time through the mountain chasing to truth after that little squirreliness. But he does keep it rescued. Little kiss on the wall. Kaizen running in 8th place. As it stands, do you know, I could sit here and do the math. My brain is far too foggy to be sitting there trying to do the math. As far as I'm aware, they just need to finish to win this team championship now. And I think the disconnection is probably the only thing that can save Black Flag from losing this team championship. Hovercraft running in 9th, he's 9.2 seconds back. Nice bit of clear air for him to drive into. It can get quite lonely in the dark though, especially when you can't see the lights. There's no lights ahead and there's no lights to be seen behind. Or is there? That's the old just coming out of Forest Elbow now. That's the lights of Karama, you can see. Karama's not alone though. He's not alone in the slightest. Karama is on auto drive. So Karama has gone for a wee maybe or something. But that's allowed Rusty Maggots to go flying through. Unless of course there was an incident between them and he's kind of let him get past him for some reason. But yeah, so Rusty Maggots up to 10th, flew past Karama there. Smashing Apex 8 seconds back in 12th. And Cyclone Dan another 8 seconds back in 13th position. So it's all gone very, very differently out in front. I think we need to start going on board now, don't we? Because we're not going to get any decent outside views. That's Sharky, and he's pulling away out in the lead now. 7.2 seconds from Slipstream. Now the question is he pulling away from Greasy? He's not. So Greasy is closing on Faye, he's closing on Slipstream. The gap is 9.5 seconds, but there's only 13 minutes left of this race. He needs to make up, and that's Faye getting it very, very wrong through there, but wrong place really for Greasy to catch him because there's just no way through. Needs a good exit out of Forest Elbow. He doesn't want to catch the wall again this time. So round he goes, gets the braking done. He was wide last time, keeping it nice inside this time on the power. Can he get this move done on Faye? Get that one position made up. Essentially, he needs to make about 5 seconds up on Sharky. He needs to close that gap on Sharky to about 5 seconds or within 5 seconds, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a penalty coming Sharky's way for that instance with Faye. Don't hold me to that. Anything could happen. Really could. But as it stands, there is the overtake. Gets a little bit squirrely. Faye fighting back. But then what happened there? Let's have a little looky-see. So we can see here, Greasy is coming past him. So Greasy, that's Slipstream. There's Greasy, makes the move. That's who we should be on board with, Faye. And he's, he just gets it all kinds of wrong. All kinds of wrong out there fighting with Greasy. And finds himself out on the grass. So, tries to fight back, couldn't get it done. He's now down to 7th position. So, Greasy 1 place made up. Although the gap now back out to over 10 seconds. He's still got fastest lap though. That's an additional point, but is it enough? It's not. 3rd place is not enough. He needs to be within 5 seconds of Sharky, at the very least, in the hope that Sharky picks up that penalty. But of course, until we see the footage from both sides, we don't know for certain what actually happened. So, Slippy in 2nd. Can he hold on for a really, really brave 2nd place? It would be absolutely fantastic for him. He's been very consistent this series, and he's been in and amongst the big boys throughout. Not been quite there to challenge the championship, but certainly inside that top 5, massive points haul for the team total, of course. Picking up the slack where Monkey Man Macho's disconnections just fell short. And 7.6 seconds is his deficit to Sharky. Can he make any inroads into that? Is Greasy going to close on the back of him, or does Greasy have to resign himself now to this third place. I'm sure he's not going to give it up at this stage, but you can see there that lap 20, that was his bad lap. He puts in that 2:09.93, and then the 2:18.5 after clipping that wall coming through Forest Elbow. Just changes the complexion of this race all over. Let's do a full rundown as we go into the final 10 minutes. Sharky leads by 8.1 seconds for Leviathan Racing Team. Slipstream for Black Flag Racing Team is 8.2 back, 2.1 ahead of HyPrix, Greasy Sam Squanch. 7.3 seconds in fact, ahead of The Truth for Sector 7. Good to see The Truth in and amongst the top 5. He certainly was there or thereabouts pretty much all throughout the GTC World Cup the last time out in Lobby 2, I think it was. He is not got it all his own way though. He's ahead of Tech Racing, but Tech is tucked in behind him there for BVL. Half second back is the other Sector 7 driver. So Tech, that BVL Tech Racing car sandwiched between those two. As he makes the move, does he make the move? He's trying to make the move on The Truth, but he can't handle The Truth this time. And it just brings these cars even closer together. Does Aero get an opportunity to make a move here? He doesn't. Kaizan slipping a cheeky one up the inside there. Sorry, Faye slipping a cheeky one up the inside there. Kaizan is involved in that battle as well. This is actually quite a good battle. So we've got Kaizan there in 8th. Ahead of him, Aero. Then we've got Faye, who just made that move up into 6th. Then we've got Tech. Then we've got The Truth. That's quite a long train of cars outside that top 3. Faye will desperately want to be trying to get back in to that top 3. He's had some he's had some unfortunate moments in this race, and will desperately probably want to see the back of it because he's been challenging for that top 3, but it just hasn't gone his way. He's closing now on Tech. He's got a really good slipstream, and this is a 2-car slipstream as well. Can he get the run on him? He's getting a little bit close to this little right-hand king. He does pull out, thinks better of it, under braking. Does he get the move down here? No, he's tucked in behind. He's going to wait for another opportunity. This is a 3-way battle for 4th place. Well, it's a 4-way battle because behind there is Aero and Kaizan. It's actually a 5-way battle at the moment, still raging on. But we're slap bang in the middle of this battle, heading down to cross the line to finish lap 26, or finish lap 25, start lap 26. Into Hell Corner they go. That's a great run out there from Faizan. What? Stop calling him Faizan, his name's Faye. You got to change the name, buddy. The way it's written is just insane. He's making that run. He's having a look up the inside. Did he get quite enough slipstream? Maybe not. It looks like that Tech Racing is just holding on. It's a really difficult overtake to make. Tech is no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. Faye having another little look. Is there a potential here into the cutting? It's probably the only viable overtaking spot through the mountain that doesn't require another car going offline or crashing. If they go a little bit wide into the cutting, you can make a move up the inside. We have seen them do that already. So the battle's still raging on. Okay, so meanwhile watching this, Greasy has got himself ahead of Slippy, but the gap is still 10.9 seconds. There is only 6 minutes remaining in this race. So devastating. Just that one moment can change an entire race, an entire championship. He clipped that wall coming out of Forest Elbow, put the car sideways, and well, that 5.8 second lead he had eroded. And Sharky just keeps getting quicker and quicker and quicker, because the gap now for Sharky is 11.2 of your Great British Glorious seconds. The Aussie driver, the current GTC World Champion, is about he's 6 minutes from becoming the BMW Cup Champion, albeit not by quite such a big margin, because there will be, for me, a penalty coming his way. Now, the question, of course, this is going to spark a wider debate, I think, because you know, the standard penalty for that would probably be a 5-second penalty, which would be comparable with other situations. However, does the context of the incident get taken into consideration? That he was losing the lead of the race, and it wasn't, he didn't outbrake himself. It looked to me that it was a deliberate act to force Fay off the track after he'd made a mistake. Now, it's going to be down to the stewards, obviously, to question that. Now, I'm pretty sure Sharky will know there might be a stewards inquiry coming his way, so his job will be to make the gap as big as possible to negate any penalty that does come his way. I think he's going to spark a wider debate later on about the context of penalties and what they mean, because this essentially has cost. Look, if it had been against Greasy, then it'd be a much more difficult argument, but it wasn't. So we'll see. We will see what the stewards have to say about it. We'll have a chat with the lads about it after this race, and we will have Sharky and Greasy and Slippy in the challenge. We might not have Slippy actually, because I know Slippy's got he's doing a silent one today because he's got guests over. I don't know. We'll find out. So it is 4 minutes, essentially 3 laps this lap and 2 more for Sharky and for Greasy and for Slipstream, and we will finish this championship. And as we go into this final stage, I do want to say the quality of driving has been absolutely phenomenal. There's been some quick drivers come through these lobbies over the last 6 races. Some of the battles have been phenomenal. There's been thrills and spills, and there's been a few incidents and stuff like that. But I think overall the quality of drivers has been second to none. And yet another great championship put on by GTC. And those that know me, I broadcast on a regular basis. And while I've been ill, this has been the only thing that I broadcast at the expense of some of my own stuff as well. Because it's such a good championship to be involved in. Obviously there are black flag drivers involved as well. But, you make a commitment, you have to stick to that commitment, and that's what I did. And, I'm proud to be involved with GTC to an extent. But loads of really cool stuff coming up on Black Flag Racing TV, so don't abandon us, because I am back with a vengeance from Monday. I'm going to try and catch up with a lot of broadcasts I've missed. That's, of course, if my voice stays, because it sounds like my voice is going. Anyway, final run through before we get to the final lap. It's Sharky 13.8 clear of Greasy Sam Squanch, as Karama puts in the fastest lap of the race from down there in his 9th or 10th or something like that. Greasy is 6/10 up from Slipstream. Can he get a move done on him, Slippy, here into Comrade? Has it got Comrade? Tech Racing up into 4th. He's ahead of Faye, who's running in 5th. Can Faye get the move done there? There's a potential move in the offing right there. The Truth back in 6th. He's still got Aero for company. These two have been joined at the hip for this entire race. The Canadian and the American hand in hand in peaceful harmony. The Aussie Kaizan, he's still in there. He's running in 8th place. Now, is Slippy being up there in the top 3 going to be enough for the team championship? Bearing in mind that Black Flag going to 31 points back, and losing Monkey Man Macho, I think is going to be a tall order to maintain the charge for the championship. I think that's over. I think Mash Spud Racing is going to nick this, much to my chagrin. No, genuinely, I'm happy for Kaiser. Hovercraft, first time in Lobby 1, and the yellow flag. Who's that for? That is, it's Faye again. Another mistake from Faye. I think without these mistakes, this guy's winning this race. But another mistake, and that drops him down to 9th position. So, all change again. So Tech back up into, he's staying in 4th, of course, but he's no longer under pressure from the Hong Kong driver. Is it Hong Kongese? It doesn't sound right. I'm going to say Hong Kong driver, but, until someone corrects me otherwise. So here we have it. This is the final lap of the race. Well, there's no point doing it like that. You can't see a thing. You can't see a thing. So heading down the Conrod for the final time. It is this going to be your champion? 15 seconds clear. I would say with a 15-second clear advantage. I think it's a foregone conclusion that Sharky is going to take this championship. I can't imagine the stewards giving him a penalty big enough to snatch it away from him. Who knows? Who knows? As he heads down under the Armour All sign, down to Murray's for the last time. Round he goes. And then he's going to cross this line. Here comes Sharky from Australia, Leviathan Racing Crew. He gets another lap. He's actually going to do another lap. So Greasy Sam Squanch will finish in second. Greasy's got, Sharky's got one more lap to do. So anti-climax that was, because I thought he might slow up, but he hasn't. So there we go. Greasy comes in second. Slipstream home in third. Just 1.2 separating them. Tech Racing. So now we're going to have to keep an eye on where Sharky is. So where is Sharky? Sharky is coming through the mountain there. Hovercraft comes home in 8th. Fate in 9th. Rusty Maggots will come home in 10th. Sharky got a lap 29. Unbelievable. Or was it lap 30 for Sharky? Lap 30 for Sharky. That's phenomenal, to be fair. Smashing Apex. It's not just a normal Apex, it's a smashing one. And here he will come to finish this race. Smashing Apex coming home in 11th for Mashy Spudsies. And I think we can say congratulations to Mash Spuds on winning the team championship, can we? He says that with a big scowl on his face. No, he doesn't. Genuine congratulations. I'd say the best man won, but they didn't. I'm only joking, of course. They go, what happened there? Oh, they're going to go side by side across the line? Cyclone Dan and Karama. Right, now we can watch Sharky cross the line. He's heading down the Conrod. This is for the final time in this race. Is there enough? Oh, of course, there's enough time left. So Sharky did make it. What a phenomenal drive, actually, from Sharky. Aside from the little angry bit early on, this has been a phenomenal drive for Sharky. And it has been for all 6 events. You know, it's not been... and there we go, celebrations. I think we can say quite safely that Sharky is not only your GTC World Champion, he is also your BMW Cup, HyPrix GTC BMW Cup Champion. Is he going to cross the line anytime soon? I hope he is. He is just messing with us. There we go. Get the car turned around, mate, and get it across the line. That'd be good. Let's get this race finished. No, more donuts from Sharky. Here he goes. He is now going to go and cross the line. And there we go. There we have it. There is your winner. Wow. Okay. He really wanted to drag that time out a little bit, didn't he? Really wanted to drag that out. So congratulations to him. First things first, let's bring this up and get them screenshots ready. So Sharky in the Z4, Greasy, Slipstream, Tech Racing, The Truth, Aero, Kaizen, Hovercraft. I think we can safely say Sharky is the BMW Cup champion, and Mash Spuds Racing are the team champions. We'll find out about Pro-Am and stuff soon. Next page, Faye in 9th, Rusty Maggots in 10th, Smashing Apex 11th, 12th is Cyclone Dan, and Karama home in 13th place. Right, shall I go and find some drivers to talk to? That sounds like a plan, Andy. That sounds like a wonderful, wonderful plan. Bear with me, I'll go and find me some drivers.
thought it was your pedals again.
No, I did a big update on all my stuff, and it seemed to work now. So thankfully, that's not an issue. I went out and bought an extra set of used pedals with a load cell control module on them just in case too.
Right, I've got.
I still did my burnout, but
I've got Sharky, and I've got Greasy, and Slipstream is here. Hello all.
Hello.
So,
thank you, Slipstream.
Let's pick that craziness apart, shall we? Right, so at every stage of this race, so at one stage Sharky was champion, and then Greasy was champion.
Yep.
And then Sharky was champion again.
Yeah.
Now, there is a question we've got to bring up, Sharky. Do you know what I'm going to bring up? The incident with Faye. So you clipped the wall. He went up the inside on the grass.
That looked hilarious.
Right, from my perspective, it looked like you rammed him into the wall. Now, I'm not suggesting...
You know what's funny? From my perspective, he went on the outside of me, and then he's just trying to put me onto the tarmac on the left-hand side off the racetrack, and then he just spun himself out. I was like, alright.
From what I saw, you clipped the wall on the right, and he was coming at pace. So
I did that.
He went to the left-hand side on the grass to go through, and then I was on chase cam at the time, and you could just kind of gone dump and kind of spun him. Now, obviously, you guys are going to put in replays and stuff like that. So I was thinking, if a penalty comes into play there, then all Greasy needs to do is get within 5 seconds, and it's almost as if you were thinking, I might get a penalty here, so let's just make a big gap.
So,
my phone cut out.
From my perspective, yes, I did hit the wall at the Grace. That did happen. Yeah. I clipped it. Fair enough. And yes, he was close to me, so it looked like he went around the outside of me on my perspective, so I thought, I'll keep turning left just to give him a lane on the outside, just so he can pull it off if he wanted to. But from his point of view, it looks like he would have been on the inside, so I would have been steering into him unknowingly, and he just turned around. He just did a bunch of 360s, and I thought,
yeah, I think the gap, when you hit the wall, because you were so far wide right when you hit the wall, and he was coming at pace, the only gap he can see is that little gap across the grass. And I think he's gone for it as you've kind of got the car back. I don't know. I mean, even if there is a penalty involved there, you were 12 seconds clear. So I think
it was actually 15, and I got an extra lap too. I'm pretty sure I got 30.
You were the
laps,
only one.
So
30.
I gave it the big fanfare and there was 4 seconds left when you crossed the line. I thought, for God's sake, he's going to go all around now. So you got 2 fanfares and then some donuts at the end. Greasy.
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
When you started, you must have been made up that you gained a place because Natu didn't show up, which is a good start. But then you're thinking, I'm in 9th. My championship rival is 1 point behind me because he obviously got the point for starting on pole. Did you think it was a possibility today, or were you thinking, I'll give it some beans?
I did a lot of practice, and I had really good pace around there, I felt, and I was going to bring the fight no matter what. And as soon as I found myself in 3rd, I think it was on the 5th lap, I was like, all right, we could do this. And then I was in the lead for a bit, and then I stuffed it, and well, it was a race, that's for darn sure.
I mean, it was mad because you both came into the pits at the same time, and I was watching another battle at the time, and then I see it change quickly. I'm thinking they're both going in, but how did it change? And of course, you went a little bit wide coming in, didn't you, Sharky? So a little bit. Did you pick up the penalty on the way in, or the way out, or a bit of both? Because you had 3.5 seconds when you came in.
I did. I had 3.5 seconds coming out of the pits, and I had my head in my hands, thinking, "Oh."
I saw you go in. I was like, "That's it. It's it. That's mine."
That's it.
I actually did the count. So
I have one job.
The penalty lost there for 3.5 seconds was 5.3 seconds. So you were half a second behind.
I ended up 6 seconds behind him once it got away.
Yeah.
Once I got to the chase, it was 6 seconds.
Yeah, massive loss. But
no, that was a roller coaster, just like that track is. That's for sure.
Yeah, do you know, I said on the broadcast, it's one of those tracks that it's a great racetrack, but when it decides it's time to hurt you, it just will. And it doesn't matter whether
Oh, yeah.
you're an A+ driver or an E driver. You get on that track, you can have the best lap you've ever driven, which you did, followed by the worst lap you've ever driven, which came literally the lap after. So that is that sort of racetrack, isn't it?
It certainly is. So, Sharky, you must have won the championship then, eh?
It looks like it.
Yes, because I'll be on 1,073, because I got 169 points, you got 160. Oh no, you didn't get fastest lap. Karama got it.
Yeah, he got it just at the end.
162 for you, that'd be 1,068.
Oh, so close. Great season, though.
Yeah, that
Great
is very...
season.
But here's the big talking point. So, going into this race, it was 31 points between Mash Spuds and Black Flag for the team championship. And only because Monkey Man Macho has got the internet connection out of a McDonald's Happy Meal. And he gets disconnected before the race starts. So I think Mash Spuds are going to nick the team championship.
Yeah.
Well done, Mash Spuds.
Yeah, well, look, we let him have it.
I was thinking out of the once my penalty was served, I was like, right, Greasy's got this by the throat. He can't lose it now. Even if I was gaining like 1/10 a lap, maybe, possibly. There's no way. And then I was like, oh, yellow flag. What could this be? Because there's no one else around. It was just me and him.
I was doing a full onboard lap with you at the time as well. You'll be pleased to know. So I did the full onboard lap, and you got into Forest Elbow, and I was talking about how important an exit was, and then it just went horribly wrong. But I
did feel for good round Forest Elbow. I didn't have any problems there at all.
It's weird, isn't it? It's one of those things.
In all my practices, I never turfed it once in that hairpin. Not once, and that was the first time.
Slippy, you there, mate?
I have all days.
I am indeed.
Top 3, man. How'd you feel about that?
Hey.
Yeah, that was pretty wicked. I just kept my nose clean and tried to stay out of trouble and try and put some decent times down here and there, you know?
You did kind of luck out a bit from people around you making their little errors and stuff, didn't you? You kind of... You made a couple of overtakes yourself, but for the most part, you kind of gained third by default of people not keeping it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did a nice undercut as well because I kind of practiced that and thought that I might be able to pull it off, and that got me up the order. And then, I just managed to capitalise on people's bad luck, really.
Yeah, I tell you, there was a bit of bad luck out in front, but Faye had such awful. I mean, how many? He must have crashed that car 6 times today, and then made the places back up, and then crashed it again, and ended up finishing just out to 9th. I think he finished in the end. But I think overall,
I'll watch the replay on my pass on him.
This has been my favourite GTC championship. It's been awesome. This lobby one. It's been so close. There's been, any one of, I think, halfway through this season, this series, it could have been any one of 5 or 6 people that could have won the championship. And it's kind of testament to just how good you guys are, really.
It was a blast. I love doing these races. We need to change the qualifying thing, but I love these races.
Yeah, the qualifying thing was mad, but
Absolutely.
It is. It's all part of it. That's what we signed up for, and that's what we did. I had a great time every Saturday. I look forward to these races, so I'm just glad I got my brakes working. I was having technical difficulties yesterday. I was running around today downloading new updates, buying new pedals, all sorts of stuff. So I'm just glad I was able to race without a mechanical issue. It's just a brain issue.
It's an awesome series, guys. Yeah. I'm glad to have been involved in it. Well done, Sharky. You are the BMW Cup champion.
Thank you.
I don't think that's a dual champion. Actually, you've got double, haven't you? World Cup champion and BMW champion. So,
and Porsche.
One of these days, I'm going to take it from you, Sharky. One of these ones, I'm going to take it from you.
see, now you've got a target on your back. In fact, I think you should have a little target on the back of your car now for the next championship, so people know you're the one to beat.
Caution, wide vehicle. At the start as well, Faye couldn't get past me either because I'd always booted out of Forest Elbow and pull like 2/10 on him, and he couldn't pass me. You could see how frustrated he was getting because he was looking everywhere. It was funny as.
I know.
Yeah, it wasn't until I really started reeling you guys in until he started really looking for a place to go around you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you could
Yeah,
see
and
him
then you were
catching,
1.5 seconds behind me, and I thought,
all the way up through the mountain, and you just seemed I don't know whether it's the Z4 in a straight line was just better than the M6, because you'd get out of Forest
It is.
Elbow, and
It is.
you disappear for a bit, then the slipstream would kick in and he'd start closing, and then as you change up from sort of fourth to fifth to sixth, the Z4 has that extra little kind of punch and starts pulling that little gap again. So he was never really close enough to get that move, but it was a really,
He
really
wouldn't
good.
pull anything back in slipstream, which was funny, unless I short shifted. He wouldn't pull anything back. It would just sort of remain the same, and it was just funny as because he clearly had pace. So
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, because you were.
There's no doubt about that,
Nearly
but-
2 seconds ahead at one stage, and he did close that gap up. But no, it was
Yeah.
it was a proper Tom and Jerry kind of battle. Whereas he tried to find a way through, and it just isn't
Yeah.
there. But yeah, no, overall great race,
Yeah.
great series. Thank you so much, guys. It's been emotional, and we'll catch you all, I'm
Cheers.
sure, for World Cup, which is coming up in a month or so, isn't it?
World Cup. You sure will.
You know it. Congratulations, Sharky.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Thank you.
again.
Thank you very much.
Congrats,
on you.
guys. That was awesome.
So there we have it. That was your top three. I think we can say with some authority that your champion is Sharky from Leviathan Racing Crew. Greasy put up an amazing fight, but alas, falls just short in second place. But it just goes to show how close these competitions are. Congratulations as well, I think, are due, without doing the math, to Mash Buds Racing, who I think have edged the team championship. But yeah, I mean, thank you to everyone involved. So all the drivers, you've brought some fantastic racing to this BMW Cup throughout. It's been a pleasure being involved, particularly being involved in Lobby 1, and sort of seeing this through to the end. It's been awesome. Thanks to everyone at GTC and obviously at HyPrix, and everyone at Black Flag that's been very patient with me over these last few weeks while I've been ill. Yeah, that's it. What else can I say? All that's left to say really is I've been Urban Pirate. This has been the GTC BMW Cups brought to you by HyPrix, and it's over. It's been emotional.